What's up, guys, and welcome back to I Really Can Cook, episode 4 of I Really Can Cook. And in today's episode, I'm going to show you how I marinate and make my chicken soft tacos. It's early in the day, according to my clock back there. Don't know if you can see it, but it's 12:06, so it's a little bit early for me to be making street tacos. Well, not really, but kind of, sort of, really. But the reason why I'm starting this early is because I do my marinade. I use KC Masterpiece Teriyaki Marinade. It's a 30-minute marinade, but I like to let my marinade sit for 8 hours. And I know you're wondering, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. I already mentioned the KC Masterpiece Sweet Teriyaki 30-minute marinade, but I also add some soy sauce, some Worcestershire sauce, some lemon concentrate, some orange juice. I use Sunny D for mine, that sweet tangy original orange juice at Sunny D. I like that taste, but I also add some Italian seasoning, some lemon pepper, and some paprika. That's all I need for my marinade. And even though it's a 30-minute KC Masterpiece marinade, I let mine sit up to 8 hours. 8 hours on the marinade. Can you imagine the taste with my recipe? I've got my chicken out the fridge and I'm about to start cutting it up for this marinade, but first, we must wash our hands. Nothing special here, just your average large Ziploc bag for your average everyday cook. Me, this guy. After my chicken's all cut up to little squares like I like to have it, gonna dump it into this bag, put my marinade in there, and let it sit for 8 hours. Can you imagine 8 hours of that marinade? Man, it's gonna be so good. Before I start cutting up my chicken, I'm gonna slice and dice these green onions, but gotta rinse them first, of course. Make sure they're nice and clean, good to go. And my cutting technique might be a little slow, but I'm not the best chef, remember? I mean, honestly, who is the best chef? But anyway, I'm gonna cut this up. Gonna be a little slow, so of course I'm gonna fast forward through this, but can't cut without my trusty butcher knife. Well, let me stop playing with that, because I'm not the best cook, so I don't want to mess around and hurt myself, but this is not an episode of Chop. Figuratively and literally. I always cut my vegetables first before cutting my chicken because you don't want to cross-contaminate and put different types of meat on your cutting board. But because I'm cutting vegetables first, it doesn't matter if I put chicken on here afterwards. I mean, it might be a good idea to rinse it, but what are green onions going to hurt your chicken as opposed to cutting some steak, then cutting chicken, and then cutting your vegetables afterwards? That would contaminate your vegetables. But because I'm cutting my green onions and all that first, me going to the chicken afterwards, it's no big deal. Now that I've got my onions all sliced and diced, I'm gonna start cutting up my chicken. Some people rinse their chicken, some don't. I do. I don't know. Is it safe? I don't know. Anyway, this might be a long, arduous process just the same, but I'm gonna fast forward through this too. But I wanted to show you guys really quickly before I start fast forwarding. I cut my chicken into little bitty pieces. Even though they're little tenders, of course you're gonna cut it small because you're making tacos, right? But also consider it cooks a lot faster and a lot easier when they're cut small into little bitty diced cubes. After cutting them into diced cubes, I'm adding them to my marinade bag, and then later on, I'm gonna actually add my marinade and show you how I do that too. Now that my chicken's all sliced and diced and ready to go, yeah, I know it looks like mush, but trust me, this is the good stuff right here. So now we're gonna add the ingredients that I mentioned. First, we're gonna start off with some peppercorn. Gonna put a lot of that in there. And don't worry about putting a whole lot because it's a whole lot of chicken. So we're gonna make sure it gets all in there real good. That in there, all right. And I'm not going to add any salt to this because you can always season your chicken later to your liking. But I wanted to point out something. I did mention the KC Masterpiece 30-minute marinade. Do not get this mixed up with regular sweet teriyaki, because this right here by itself, oh man, that stuff does not taste good. But as a marinade, man, it's the best. So we're gonna go ahead and put some of that in there. Not a whole lot, but you know, just enough to enjoy. All right, that'll do it. Put that aside. And got our lemon pepper seasoning right here. Put a little good amount in there. Hope you can see that. There we go. Put some lemon pepper in there. Italian seasoning. Man, Italian seasoning is the stuff. I think I put Italian seasoning on just about everything I cook. That's one of my little secret ingredients right there. Put some Italian seasoning in there. Paprika. I recently discovered paprika watching a cooking show. I know people put it on their barbecue a lot, but I put it in my chicken and it actually makes a difference. It's the good stuff. And got your regular soy sauce right here. Yeah, put some of that in there, depending on the flavor you want. Not a whole lot. Put that in there. And don't forget your Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. You put some of that in there. If you don't have any Worcestershire sauce, I'm sure you can use A1 steak sauce to substitute. Then we're gonna get some lemon concentrate. I picked this lemon concentrate up from the 99-cent store. Put a decent amount in there, not a whole lot. Decent amount in there, a couple of drips. And lastly, OJ, some orange juice, right? And this is Sunny Delight. But if you have different orange juice, you can use that too. But I like the way Sunny D tastes in my marinade, so that's what I'm gonna rock with. So now, you can see that right there? Check that out. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna go ahead and start sealing this bag, and we're gonna get rid of as much air as possible as we seal it. Oh, let me put that to the side. And try not to squeeze out any juice on your countertop as you're squeezing out the air. If you have a vacuum sealer, I'm sure that'll help, but I don't, so I'm just using my hands. And you wanna make sure you seal this bag tight. Why? Because you're gonna turn it upside down. It's not leaking, thank God. Gonna turn it upside down. You're gonna mix everything in there really good, really good. All those ingredients, you wanna make sure every piece of chicken gets coated and covered very well, right? Then we're gonna take this bad boy. See how it's laid out? Now look at that, see? Look at that marinade. We're gonna let that sit. It is 1:44 right now in the afternoon, 1:44 p.m. I'm gonna let this bad boy sit till about 6. I can't get a good 8 hours on this because I started late, but still, it's only a 30-minute marinade, and I'm still gonna let it sit for like 5 hours. 5 hours, so around 6:44, 7 o'clock tonight, I'm gonna open this bad boy up. Look at that, look at that. Gonna open this bad boy up tonight and get to cooking. Epic tacos with my epic sauce. Because it's getting a little late in the evening and I'm getting hungry, I'm not gonna let my chicken marinate for the full 8 hours that I normally like to do. But I think I said earlier in the video I was gonna let it marinate for about 5 hours, which we're coming up on right about now. So I'm gonna let it sit out on the counter, rest to get room temperature, and then I'm gonna get to cooking. I'm certain there are much better ways to do this, but now it's time to drain the sauce from my chicken. And don't worry, there's still gonna be a lot of sauce that the chicken, or the marinade that the chicken actually absorbed, but you wanna get rid of all this excess marinade because you just don't want your chicken swimming in it when you're trying to actually cook it, because like I said, the chicken absorbed a lot of it, and as I cook it, it's gonna come out of the chicken, and I'm not gonna cook my tacos swimming in marinade juice. That's not the purpose. The point is to marinate it so you can get that flavor and then cook it without the actual juice. Or that's my method. I mean, it worked for me thus far, so hopefully it'll work for you. Now that I've let my marinade drain out, it's time to get ready to start grilling. First thing I'm gonna do is warm up my cast iron skillet, or my griddle rather, and that's for my tortillas. I've got my tortilla warmer over there. What's the brand? It's the Imusa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Imusa brand, but that's my tortilla warmer. And on this side, I've got my stainless steel. Put my heat at about medium temperature. Let that sit there for a minute and get up to temperature. And my Romero corn tortillas. Hope you can see that good. Just the mini tortillas, because I'm going to be making little street tacos. But I'm going to go ahead and get ready to warm those up and get those ready, because the chicken cooks pretty fast, especially because I cut it into small little nuggets, or little bites, I guess you want to call it. Because I love my food so much, I got 8 of these bad boys. Yeah, buddy. Yep, I'm about to take down 8 of these monsters. Set it next to my tortilla warmer, and that paper towel that you see in there, that's slightly damp, because once I put them on the griddle, get them warm, put them inside the tortilla warmer, I'm gonna cover them up with the damp paper towel and the lid for that, and that'll actually keep them nice and warm and nice and soft as I'm waiting to eat them. And with my griddle being nice and warm, just gonna add a little bit of oil. Little bit of oil there, set that aside for a second, and I'm going to make sure it's spread evenly. Just wipe it down a little bit. And the best method that I've seen to actually warm up corn tortillas is to actually run them in water or dip them in a bowl of water, depending on how you have it, and just put them on there and let them grill up just for a couple of minutes. Doesn't take long. You just want them warm. You don't want them to burn. The good thing is, if you do it right, and I have not done it right every time because I'm not a chef, I'm just your everyday cook. But if you do it right, they will stay nice and soft and warm while you get your eat on. So, put 3 of those on right now. And my stainless steel, look at that, it's nice and hot and ready to go. Get that excess water out of there. There we go. And we're gonna put some olive oil in there. That's what I like to use, excuse me. Get olive oil all around there, nice and good. And I always try to make sure I get some oil on the rivets. I know it doesn't matter because it's well built, but you know, in my head, I just don't want anything to get stuck under those rivets. That would not be fun. But anyway, now that is nice and warm and ready to go, I've got my oil in there. Here we go. It's going to be some excess juice, but here we go. All right. Got every piece of chicken out of there. And start frying it up. And I'm not gonna cross-contaminate, excuse me. Get my other spatula to flip these. Oh, there we go. That one stuck a little bit, but this one's good. And that one's good to go. Turn that rear flame down just a sec. And while I wait on that side to warm up, go ahead and start cooking this chicken. And I'm gonna go ahead and speed through this, might just do a little warp or whatever. I mean, because you know how it cooks, and then I'll stop it at the end when the chicken is cooked, just so you can see at what point I like to cook my chicken. But normally, cooking this chicken takes me no more than 10 to 15 minutes, and it's cooked all the way through. Nobody getting sick over here, you know. And in case you're wondering why there's water, or you put water on the corn tortillas, it's so that the water can evaporate and steam and make them moist, you know. So this, I mean, it's like when you try to reheat bread in the microwave or something like that. What you want to do is you always want to wrap your bread in a damp paper towel or something, because that will actually infuse more moisture back into the bread. So the tortilla is kind of like bread, right? So you want to put some moisture into it. So what you do, run it under some water, put it on a hot griddle with a little bit of oil, and there you have it. Like I was talking about, you're starting to see a lot of juice coming out of the chicken. I mean, that's okay, you know, that's just part of the marinade it's cooking through, but it helps keep the chicken moist. I'm gonna drain off most of that in just a second, but I just wanna let it cook through and get moist and get all that flavor in there as it goes. Now it's time to go ahead and drain off some of this excess marinade. Get some of this out of here because it's no longer useful. I mean, it's served its purpose, but don't need it anymore. And with the amount of chicken that I have, I think that's about enough marinade to leave in there, and that'll just run throughout the rest of this chicken and pretty much cook off or cook into the chicken, keeping it nice, moist, and flavorful. Make sure you spread the chicken evenly so it cooks evenly. You don't want it all piled up on itself and then it not cook, only the pieces at the bottom. Those tortillas are about done. Just let them sit without the fire because the griddle is still hot, of course. Let it sit there for a couple of more minutes. Then I'm gonna go ahead and finish off this chicken. Then the best part, before you get to watch me eat and enjoy this, is I'm gonna make my epic sauce. Well, you've already seen me make that epic sauce, so I'm just gonna put the footage in to show you because the recipe doesn't change, the ingredients don't change, but it's still epic. My tortillas are done, but what I like to do is, I mean, they look pretty good. The first one's got a little toastier than I wanted, but either way, I'm still gonna eat them, it don't matter. But what I like to do is turn them over because I want the ones that I did first to be on top because I'm gonna eat those first, while the other ones I just took off, they're still warm, right? So got that all set that aside. Get back to this chicken. Make sure it's all ready and moist and ready to eat. And yeah, buddy, I'm gonna get to it. I don't know if you can see that good enough. Hopefully it's in focus for you, but look how good that chicken is, man. That chicken is on point. That chicken is ready to go. I hope it's focusing for you guys. If not, you got all this. My chicken looks good. My chicken's ready. And now, time for the taste test. Oh, yeah, that chicken's ready. Turn the fire off. That chicken is good to go. Well, now it's time to go ahead and make my epic sauce or put in the footage like I said. Then, gonna build my tacos and get my eat on. So I'm not gonna torture you guys and have you watch me eat my tacos like I normally do or any other epic meal that I create, but I went ahead and constructed my tacos, put them together. They're street tacos, I don't put a lot on them. Why? Because I eat 8 of them at a time. I'm a big boy, like I said. I like to get my grub on, but I got my tacos ready and I'm gonna have me some ginger ale with my tacos tonight. It's some good eating. And just in case you guys are wondering, if you notice that my audio sounds a little bit better, I got a lavalier mic this time instead of using my shotgun mic. And if you visited my tech page, my photography page, my videography page, A. Roberson Photo, a photog doing videos, yeah, A. Photog doing videos, A. Roberson Photo, A. Roberson Media. I'll go ahead and put a link to that too if you want to go and check out the review that I did on this actual lavalier mic for you tech guys that are in my food channel trying to get your eat on with me. But anyway, this is Ahmed with I Really Can Cook, and as you see, I really can cook and I really can eat because I'm about to get my eat on right now. I'll see you guys in the next video.